it takes 3 times as long and obviously 3 times as expensive. But the grade is so strong that these costs are, I don't want to say nominal, but again, it's well worthwhile if we're grading and we can hold around an ounce per ton and start to meet some of these met results.
All right, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. And joining me now is Jared Laserson. He's the CEO of North Bay Resources. And Jared, it's good to have you back again. How are you?
Doing great. How are you, Steve?
I'm doing well, doing well. So the company out with pretty interesting news this morning about metallurgical studies that you conducted at the Fran Gold Project. Let's do two in one here, and tell me a bit about the Fran project so we get everyone up to date on where it is and what you're looking for there, and really about these strong metallurgical numbers.
Sure. It's a large project. I think something like 35,000 acres. Long-standing project I've been involved with the better part of 20 years. We joint ventured it into North Bay about 6 months ago, ran a couple of summer programs, identified some stockpiles, grading north of an ounce. So the background is 104 holes drilled, over 50,000 feet of drilling, well-identified gold deposit, but also some previously stockpiled near-surface material. We've begun shipping that. First shipment went in September. That was used for our met study that you were just talking about. And yeah, it's a big property, a lot of opportunity there. But right now, we're really focused on production and providing feedstock for our Bishop California mill.
Mhm. The numbers came back pretty strong on that metallurgical report. The gold recovery working well, gravity separation, flotation, a lot of things that you were testing there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why you do the step by step. But yes, head grade came in very close to an ounce. So that's consistent with our assays, previous assays. And yeah, recovery was excellent. And our process engineers had advocated for using more intensive gravity recovery, and it looks like they were right. So the long and the short of it is 67% by gravity and an additional 30% by flotation. And now we're matching that up with the Bishop Mill. Bishop Mill is currently set up for flotation primary, so we may end up switching that around and orienting more towards gravity. Obviously, it's less expensive, and if it works, it works. It works better as a con because it generally is more gold and easier to recover. It's a simpler, older process, although flotation obviously has a long history. But we may switch things around. Right now, we're just focused on production, doing some upgrades and tweaks, and also waiting on reagents. It turns out that reagents for mining flotation are not so easy to come by. It's been almost 6 weeks for flotation reagents. We should start receiving them this week, so we'll start bumping up recovery at the mill. We've got some reasonable results already back from a refinery partner, but we really want to go, 2 or 3 more, maybe more in times than that. But yeah, we have some initial gold recovery from the mill, so that's good. We were able to double that recently with optimization of our existing equipment, but we're really waiting on the flotation reagents, and we've already acquired some new gravity equipment to start testing. But we now have a baseline, from the Met Lab, and they are the same guys doing the engineering at the mill. So the blueprint's there, and now it's implementation. But yeah, very exciting time. And I guess I'd follow on by adding, I was just up north. We just shipped 120 tons. In the mining world, not that much, but in the business world, not bad. That should be in the $250,000 gross range. It was a lot of work. Opened a 60-mile road, middle of winter, 3 or 4 feet of snow. But we just felt, now or never in terms of getting some more ore to the mill in front of winter. After this, it starts to get a little more difficult, although there's a possibility, if things go well, that we can bring in the snow equipment and do additional shipments this winter. But it was really a proof of concept on both getting some quantity to the mill in terms of dollars and ore, but also being able to mobilize during the winter in British Columbia. So that's gone smooth. First arrival of ore, first truckload should arrive today or tomorrow.
Yeah, and so that's sort of the plans you mentioned to kind of work your way through the winter, but really start to ramp up that as the snow starts to melt in the early part of spring.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, it takes 3 times as long and obviously 3 times as expensive, but the
Sure.
grade is so strong that these costs are, I don't want to say nominal, but again, it's well worthwhile if we're grading and we can hold around an ounce per ton and start to meet some of these met results. And like I said, the process engineers that are doing the met testing are also the guys implementing the optimization at the mill. So it's all going smooth, and everything indicates in the right direction. Every time we do a little upgrade, things get significantly better. And now
Mhm.
we have some tonnage at the mill that'll generate us some cash flow. So yeah, all looking good. It's not easy, particularly shipping in the middle of the winter. Optimizing a mill, but everything's moving in the right direction. Very exciting right now.
All right, Jared, we'll leave it there. Thanks very much. Really appreciate it. We'll talk soon, okay?
Great. Thanks so much, Steve.
All right, Jared Laserson, the CEO of North Bay Resources.